All right, welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever looked at, say, a tiny ant bustling across the pavement, or maybe a hawk soaring way up high, and wondered, how did that creature end up living right there?
Right, why that specific spot?
Exactly. Or maybe you've thought about how all the different plants and animals in a forest, or even just in your local park, are somehow connected, like secret roommates in this giant house we call Earth.
Hmm.
Well, today we're embarking on an amazing journey. Think of it as an ecosystem adventure, our mission for this deep dive. To explore the incredible homes where all living things find their place, and how different species share those spaces, and what happens when those vital homes, or maybe the groups of animals living in them, start to change. Get ready, because we're about to uncover some seriously cool stuff about the world around you.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating, I think, is how much we can understand about life on Earth. Just everything, from the tiniest microbe to the biggest whale, by focusing on just two really big ideas: where species live, their habitat, and how many of them there are, their population. This deep dive is going to reveal some surprising and really important connections. It shows just how linked every living thing actually is.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a fundamental idea. Take a second. Imagine your own home. What makes it your home? Like, what essential things does it give you? Things you need every single day to feel safe, comfortable, and, well, alive.
Food, water, shelter.
Right. Now let's zoom out and think about animals. What exactly is a habitat for them?
That's a great starting point. For any organism, really, whether it's a huge redwood tree or, I don't know, a speedy cheetah, a habitat is simply the specific environment where it lives and, crucially, where it finds everything it needs to survive and, thrive.
So it's more than just a place.
Oh, definitely. Think of it like a perfectly tailored survival kit. A good habitat provides the essentials, things like food, water, oxygen, shelter from predators and maybe harsh weather, and also the right conditions like temperature, light for that organism to grow, reproduce, and raise its young. It's the whole package.
The whole package. And when we say habitat, wow, we're not talking about just one type of place, are we? The variety out there is just, it's mind-blowing.
Got the deal.
Imagine the planet. We have freshwater habitats, right? Like those bubbling streams you might hike alongside, or the calm, deep lakes where fish just hang out.
Classic examples.
Then there are the vast terrestrial habitats, the ones on land, a bustling forest floor, teeming with insects and maybe deer, or an enormous grassland stretching out with grazing animals, or even a scorching desert where the sun just rules everything.
Big difference between those.
And, of course, the incredible marine habitats, deep down in the mysterious ocean abyss where these bizarre creatures live, or those vibrant, colorful coral reefs. They're like underwater cities just bursting with life.
So much life there.
And we even have extreme habitats, places like the frozen Arctic tundra where polar bears roam, or those super hot hydrothermal vents at the very bottom of the sea, where unique life thrives in total darkness and intense pressure.
It's amazing.
Yeah, each one is like a custom-made home perfectly suited for its inhabitants. That's pretty cool.
It really is.
So here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a little bit like nature's magic show. How do animals actually manage to survive and even thrive in these incredibly different homes? What makes a penguin, say, feel totally right at home in the icy Antarctic, while a prickly cactus can live happily in a blazing hot desert? You couldn't just swap them, could you? That wouldn't work.
Huh. Absolutely not. No, that would
Yeah.
be a disaster. And that's because organisms don't just exist in their habitat. They are specially adapted to survive there. They have unique features or specific behaviors. You could call them nature's ingenious solutions, maybe.
Nature's tricks.
Yeah, tricks or tools that give them a crucial advantage in their specific environment. For example, think about a bear in a forest. It's got that thick fur, a layer of fat, keeps it warm through a freezing winter.
Right. Makes sense.
Or a duck on a pond,
Yeah.
right? Gliding effortlessly with its webbed feet. Imagine trying to swim properly without webbed feet. It'd be a real struggle, wouldn't it?
Like trying to paddle with mittens on. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Or consider the camel in the desert, those famous humps. They aren't just for looks. They actually store fat, which the camel converts into energy and even water when food and drink are scarce. It's like their built-in survival tank,
Wow, a living canteen.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And fish in a river. They don't have lungs like us. They have gills. These special organs let them extract oxygen directly from the water so they can breathe underwater. These adaptations, these are the things that allow life to conquer almost any corner of the Earth.
That's incredible. So it's all about fitting in. Okay, now for a quick challenge for you, our curious listener. Ready? Picture two very different animals, let's say. A polar bear, right? Thick fur, lots of blubber, designed for extreme cold. And then maybe a desert fox with those huge ears to cool off and thin fur, loves the heat. How do these two manage to survive in almost opposite conditions? What unique adaptations do they each have that make their specific habitat their absolute perfect home? Take a moment. Really think about how their bodies and their behaviors help them out.
Good challenge. Think features and actions.
So, okay, we've talked about where animals live their habitats, but what about how many of them live there? If you're looking at a pond and you see, I don't know, some fish swimming, a few frogs on lily pads, maybe a duck or two, are they all part of one big happy group?
Ah, that's a key distinction. When we talk about how many, we're defining a population. So a population is technically defined as all individuals of one specific species living in the same area at the same time. That's important.
One species. Got it.
Right. So if there are, say, 25 ducks living on that pond, that's one population. The duck population, the fish, they're their own population. The frogs, they're another separate population. It's about counting individuals of the same kind, the same species in that particular place.
Okay, so like a head count for each type of animal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's something important. Population sizes aren't fixed. They're not static. They're always changing. They grow when new individuals are born, obviously, or when others move into the area. We call that immigration. Think immigrate in.
Okay.
And they shrink when individuals die or when they move out to find new homes. That's emigration. Think immigrate exit.
In and out. Makes sense.
Right. And this brings up an important question. Why do scientists actually spend so much time tracking these numbers, counting ducks and frogs? Well, by studying populations, we can see if a species is doing well, if it's thriving, or if it's struggling, maybe even at risk of disappearing. It helps us understand the health of the whole ecosystem and figure out when we might need to step in and protect certain species.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So just to make it really, really clear for everyone listening, habitat is the address, right? The place where a species lives with everything it needs.
The environment, yeah.
And population is the head count. How many individuals of that one specific species live at that address?
Precisely.
So think about our pond again. It's one single pond habitat, but inside it you might count, let's say, 150 fish, 40 frogs, and those 25 ducks we mentioned. Each of those numbers represents a separate population, all sharing the same habitat, but they're distinct groups.
You've got it. And this leads to another important question for you to think about. Imagine if pollution suddenly got into that pond, something that significantly reduced the oxygen levels in the water. Which of those populations, the fish, the frogs, or the ducks, do you think would be affected first? Which might decline the fastest? And importantly, why might that be? Think about how each of those animals gets its oxygen. It's a good puzzle.
Yeah, that's a good one to chew on. Okay, let's dive back into our pond scenario for a bit. We've got our duck population, our fish population, our frog population, and don't forget the plants. Maybe some algae, some water lilies. Those are populations too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plant populations, algae populations, even bacteria populations, they all count.
Okay, so are all these different populations just hanging out, doing their own thing, like total strangers living in the same apartment building but never talking?
Not at all. That's what's truly fascinating here. These populations are absolutely not independent. They interact constantly. They're creating this intricate web of life, all interconnected.
A web, like a food web.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we're definitely talking about things like food chains, who eats whom, and predator-prey relationships, one species hunting another for food. It's this dynamic dance of survival.
So in our pond,
Well, for instance, the duck population might be munching on those aquatic plants you mentioned. That's an interaction. The fish population, maybe they're eating smaller aquatic insects. Another interaction. And the frog population could be out there snapping up flying insects buzzing near the shore.
okay.
And then, of course, some of those fish might become dinner for the ducks. Or maybe even for a bigger predator, like a heron that flies in to go fishing.
Okay, so it's all linked.
Every single part plays a role in this complex, interconnected system. It's not just a collection of species, it's a community.
It's like a giant living puzzle then, where every piece actually depends on the others. Imagine you're one of those frogs in the pond. Like, your survival isn't just about finding enough oxygen like we talked about. It's also about finding enough juicy insects to eat.
Yep, gotta eat.
And at the same time, trying not to become a tasty snack for a hungry duck or maybe a lurking snake nearby.
Constant vigilance.
Right. Every part, from the tiniest plant to the biggest fish, plays a role. And they all rely on each other in some surprising and sometimes very direct ways. It really is this never-ending cycle of give and take.
That's a great way to put it, give and take.
So, okay, if habitats are this crucial foundation for all life, providing that whole survival kit, what happens when they get damaged? Or, even worse, completely disappear? What does that actually mean for all those amazing populations we've been talking about, the ones adapted so perfectly to their specific homes?
Yeah, this is where the knowledge becomes really critical.
Mhm.
Knowledge is most valuable when we understand it and apply it, right?
Mhm.
And here, the consequences are, unfortunately, very clear, very direct. Loss of habitat. It almost always leads to a decline in populations.
Mm.
Simple as that.
Decline meaning fewer animals.
Fewer animals, yes. Sometimes dramatically fewer. When an animal loses its home, it loses its essential resources. It loses its food, its water, its shelter, its safe place to raise its young. And often, eventually, it loses its life, or at least its ability to reproduce successfully. This has huge implications for the variety of life on Earth, what scientists call biodiversity. It reduces that variety.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. Think about deforestation. When huge areas of forest are cut down, it's not just the trees that vanish. Birds lose their nesting sites, they lose crucial food sources, and that directly leads to their population shrinking, fewer birds.
Okay.
Or consider melting sea ice up in the Arctic. For animals like polar bears, that sea ice isn't just frozen water, it's their main hunting ground for seals. That's where they catch their food.
Right, they wait by the breathing holes.
Exactly. So as the ice melts and shrinks, they lose that vital platform. It gets much harder for them to find food. And this severely impacts their population numbers. Fewer bears surviving, fewer cubs being born.
Wow.
And one more. Think about coral bleaching, those vibrant reefs we mentioned. When they bleach, usually because the ocean water gets too warm, the corals die off. And when that happens, countless species of fish and other creatures lose their shelter and their food sources. It devastates entire marine ecosystems, sends these ripple effects throughout the ocean food web.
It's like their whole city just crumbled.
That's a good analogy. It's like an apartment building collapsing, leaving all the residents homeless and without resources.
That's a pretty sobering thought, isn't it? It really makes you realize how delicate these systems can actually be.
They can be surprisingly fragile sometimes.
So what does all this mean for us? Here's an important extension question for you, the listener, to consider. How do human activities accelerate this habitat loss? Sometimes maybe without us even realizing it. What things do we do, maybe in our daily lives, or maybe bigger global actions, that impact these vital homes for other species? Think about, I don't know, where your food comes from, or how things are built, or how you travel. There's often a hidden connection there somewhere.
It's worth thinking about those connections, definitely.
Okay. Enough serious stuff for a moment. It's your turn to be the ecosystem architect. Instead of just learning about habitats and populations, let's play a little game in your mind. Let's get creative. I challenge you to build an entire ecosystem right now, just using your imagination. Ready?
Fun. Let's see what they come up with.
Imagine you get to choose a species. Any species. Maybe you're a busy squirrel gathering nuts in a park. Or perhaps a sleek dolphin leaping through ocean waves. Or a tough little desert beetle scuttling across hot sand. Or even a tiny, tiny plankton just floating in the water. Pick one. Okay, got your species. First step, where would your species live? What kind of habitat would you choose for it? Take a moment. Really picture that home. What does it look like? Smell like? Feel like?
Get specific. Is it hot, cold, wet, dry?
Yeah. Now, here's the cool part. Connect your species with other imaginary species in that habitat. Who do you eat to get energy? Who might see you as a tasty meal? Oh. Start forming those food chains and maybe even food webs in your mind. Picture how your species' life connects to others around it.
Okay, this raises some important questions while you're building that mental ecosystem. First, in your imagined world, did your population depend on other populations to survive? Could your species actually live completely on its own with no interactions? Probably not, right?
Good point.
And then think about threats. What challenges could threaten your habitat? Think about things like climate change, making your home too hot or too cold, or maybe a new road being built right through it, or pollution making your water or air unsafe. What could go wrong?
Okay.
Now think about adaptations. What adaptations help your species survive now in your imagined habitat? And here's the critical part. Which of those amazing adaptations might not be enough in the future if conditions change drastically? If that pollution comes or the climate shifts, it's a lot to consider.
Those are fantastic questions to really chew on. And hey, as you go about your day to day, or maybe this weekend, I encourage you to take this a step further. Grab a piece of paper, or maybe just open a drawing app on a tablet or phone. Sketch out your own habitat. It could be your real backyard, a park you know, a forest you visited, or even a completely fantastical world you invent.
Get creative with it.
Oh, totally. Add at least 3 different populations to your drawing and then show how they interact. Draw arrows, maybe. Who's the predator? Who's the prey? Who's competing for the same food or space? Or who just kind of lives side by side. You could even label producers, consumers, decomposers if you're feeling really ambitious.
Go for the gold.
And here's the clincher, the big thought experiment for your drawing. Once you've drawn your little ecosystem, imagine one of your drawn populations suddenly just disappears. Poof, gone. How do you think the others would be affected? Would another population boom because its predator vanished? Would one struggle because its main food source is gone? It's a really great way to visualize just how interconnected everything we've been talking about truly is.
That ripple effect is key.
What an incredible journey we've been on today. Seriously. We've taken a really deep dive into habitats, those amazing diverse homes for all living things, and populations, the specific groups of species, the head counts that call those places home.
Yeah.
We've seen how incredible adaptations, like nature's superpowers, help species survive in the most varied environments, how populations are always shifting, always changing, and how everything, absolutely everything, is connected in this delicate, vital, and just totally fascinating dance of life.
It really is a dance. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, understanding these intricate connections, well, it isn't just a science lesson, is it? It's absolutely vital for the future of our planet. And this raises, I think, one last important question for you to ponder. Knowing how interconnected every single species is with its habitat and with all the other populations around it, what responsibilities do we have as humans to protect these intricate systems for the future? What small change, maybe, could you make today? Maybe in how you use resources or how you interact with nature, even in your own backyard.
Yeah.
That might just ripple through an ecosystem and make a positive difference. There's always more to learn out there, and your curiosity, that's the best tool you have for discovery. Keep asking why.
Absolutely. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep observing the incredible world around you every single day. You've been well informed, now go explore. All right,